Okay.
So yeah, this is going to be a recording for anyone that wasn't able to attend today. If they're curious about some of the questions regarding September in CoDesign 10. Thank you to the three of you for being here. It's really nice for me to be able to make some connections with parents. I know I've talked to many of the parents on the phones over the summer, getting them interested in the program. But once September comes around, mainly it's the course mentors who are the ones communicating with the learners and sometimes the parents as well. So we did a brief little introduction right before you came in, Tanya, saying that Lisa's son, Stephen, is in Megan Allen's pod. And then Suzanne's daughter, Emily, is also in Heather's pod.
Oh, Heather's pod. Yeah, sorry.
Which is the same pod that that Tanya Tomatea is in.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's some connections for us. And my goal today was really just to be able to reach out to parents. And I think it's important for you all to feel like, you know, you're able to check in and hear what's going on a different level than just asking your kids how things are going all the time. So these meetings, I'm intending to just kind of guide you guys to the blog, remind you that that's there. Look at where the different pods are and what they're working on right now, what they'll be working on for the next month, and then seeing if there's some questions you guys are wondering about either technology or how the program runs or what second session looks like or whatnot. So why don't we start with just any questions? If any of you have anything that you want to put out there, or if there's anything that you came with today that you're really hoping to get an answer to, because I know some of you can't stay for very long. So we'll start with questions and then I can go on a few little rants and share information with you after that.
Well, I do have a little question, and that is,
go ahead.
Emily was asking about the schedules and how everything is organized, so she knows what to face during the week. Is there any way we can add that or get more clearance? Because
I actually do have what I have asked all of the mentors to do is to let me know all of their meeting times. As the coordinator of the program, it is important for me to have that information.
Mm-hmm.
So then, pertaining to Megan's pod, then Suzanne, it looks like Megan's pod mainly meets on Thursdays at 11:45.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then there's a math meeting, and let me see. There's two different math courses.
Yeah, she's on the Friday one.
She's on the Friday one. Perfect.
Yeah.
So Friday, 1:30, and Travis puts 2 hours there, 1:30 to 2:30. Often they'll just use an hour and a bit, and then he's also, he stays for that extra time if learners need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the schedule as we know it right now. And Megan's pod does 15-minute weekly meetings, one-on-one.
Yeah.
Megan.
Yeah, that's not what I meant. I meant, for example, that, for example, when Travis is explaining all the math in all the hours on Friday, after that he says, okay, I want you to work on this, and this is the assignment, and we have a test in a couple weeks. So basically what Emily's trying to find is how she can spend her time very efficiently after all the meetings she has with Heather and with Travis, and if there is it can be more clear for her to what needs to be done on a certain point, or checkpoints, or is that something she needs to do by herself?
In terms of the workload. Well, so this is where, and sorry, I got you confused. I thought that she was in Megan's pod for a moment, Heather's pod. So she knows the weekly meetings.
Yeah.
That's clear by now. And I'm hoping that most of the learners are getting
she loves
that schedule. Good. in terms of the expectations, that is each of the pod mentors has a slightly different way of delivering the material and expecting the next set of material pieces to be done the next week. And what we encourage is, everyone's schedule is so different. So in a sense, like this is a pilot, or this is a program where we are working in groups. So it's a virtual classroom program, but outside of the virtual classroom, there's learners doing extracurricular activities or part-time at another school or, jobs. So we can't actually, go into scheduling as to what would work for each learner. But the mentors will say, this is your due date. And they will often say, or learners can ask, how long do you think we should work on this for?
Yeah.
What kind of, is this a huge project? They'll have an idea of how many hours that would require, or are these smaller pieces that are just going to be little 15-minute chunks? At the top of every one of their courses that they are in, and this is really awesome for all of you guys to know, at the top of every single Moodle course is something called a course, I think the scheduling is a course timeline. It's right around where the course outline is. Like there's a course guide. It's the first 3 pieces of information in every Moodle course. And what we have done as more of the administrative side of the high school, I'm also on one of those boards, and we actually go into the courses and we say, here's all of the projects, all of the assignments, all of the quizzes. If a learner wants to complete this course in one session, this is what they would have to do on a weekly basis.
Okay.
So that will give you sort of a rough idea. Sometimes it's, written in hours. Sometimes it's just written in the project order. So that's something to check out, just to give you guys an idea. And as we add more courses to the schedule, for instance, our personal project course is going to be added in the next few weeks. I actually wrote out a week-by-week expectation for how each of the 3 pod mentors will be delivering that, and the amount of work that we'll look at asking the learners for. So there are some courses that are more specific, and I'm able to kind of have that input as a course creator. But, other courses, it might take one learner 10 minutes to do something and another learner an hour. It's so challenging to be able to put that amount of time on it.
Yeah, well, I think what you said is that it will help her to find course outlines, and that.
Yeah, if you're a linear thinker, like I am, it is nice to be able to say, okay, here's everything in the course. Just take a step back and get a bit of an idea about that.
Yeah.
So that should really help her. What else was I going to add to that? I think that might be it. I hope that helps. And if there's further questions, make sure she is reaching out to the course mentor.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I was going to add. In Co-Design 10, I strongly encourage, because it is, the first year of high school, and it's a lot of learners, this whole experience doing, lots of learners come from homeschooling backgrounds and very self-paced backgrounds, and coming into a course like this where we are expecting things to be done.
Absolutely, yeah.
Only meet for a very short period of time, and we want to keep moving forward as a group and not leave people behind. So what I recommend to learners is to set aside time. So you were saying, okay, maybe the weekly meeting is, Thursdays for an hour and a half. Then maybe that learner is sitting down after they take a break for another hour and a half after that, when it's very fresh and they're doing all that homework right away.
Exactly.
It's not a procrastination thing where they get next week and they say, oh, what did my mentor say we had to do?
Yeah.
That's always my biggest piece of feedback and advice to any single learner that's having scheduling issues.
Yeah. Or she's struggling with that, to find the correct pace in that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that's a really big part of grade 10 year is to be able to schedule, to schedule your own home schooling hours.
Yeah.
What does that look like, and how is that productive, and what is, for each learner, what's that productive time?
Yeah.
How much can they sit at the computer without, how long can they sit at the computer without like losing focus?
Exactly.
And what do those breaks look like? What is wellness? Is it getting up and going outside and running around the house once, or is it taking the dog for a walk, or doing a couple stretches, or making a smoothie, or what does it look like for them, so that they can really maximize their time to be efficient when they're working and really quite effective as well.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's my advice to her, to have certain breaks, what she's used to for all those many years of school. So make it 10 or, for example, or something. Yeah, exactly. Run around and back into focus. But I was wondering if the other parents are struggling with that too, to see how they find their new balance in life, with to be on their own, or perhaps they are all used to that.
Tamatea, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, so Tamatea actually unschooled until this year. So he hasn't had any structure. And he's just, what I suggested to him to do is to just do like 45-minute blocks and then 15-minute breaks. So he does 45 minutes and then he'll go and do like jump on the trampoline for 15 minutes, or he has these little workouts that he does, or go and read a leisure novel for 15 minutes or something that he's away from the screen and he's away from anything that's like really where he has to really focus. Smart. So he's doing that and just trying to, and he seems to be doing really well with that. The other thing that I'm suggesting that he does is when he gets a course to kind of check out the overview, like check out the whole course and see like what's going to happen, and kind of, so you kind of get an idea of what's coming ahead of time. Mm-hmm. And then when the teacher, like this week for math, I think your daughter's in the same math as Tamatea, the 1:30 to 3:30. So I think he has, for Friday, I think he had to listen to 4 lessons, and then he has an assignment due. Mm-hmm. So I said, well, how are you going to do that? And I said, there's a few ways you can do it. You could, you could listen to 1 lesson a day, mm-hmm. and split up the assignment over 4 days. Or, you have to kind of, but to make plans. And so what we did is we got a big calendar too, like a big wall calendar. So you can pencil things in if you want to. Mm-hmm. Or they have their online calendar now that he's using that. Yeah. So just kind of, so if you can kind of give guidance like that and just tips for her and say, so what works best for you? And for Tamatea anyways, ultimately it's better if he makes the decision, because then he's going to do it. If I make the decision, he doesn't do it anyways. No,
because we passed that. They're too old for that now, eh?
Exactly.
Yeah. Such good feedback, Tanya. The calendar thing is essential. I love that you've encouraged him, but then you let him be the one that's putting those putting those chunks of time in the calendar. Mm-hmm. And Suzanne, if Emily needs some guidance towards how to use the virtual calendar that we have in Gmail, that's called the Google Calendar that we use. I'd be happy to do a little session with you guys on that, because it's really revolutionized a lot of my learners' experiences over the past few years, and even my own. I'll put my morning run in my calendar. I'll put my afternoon yoga session in there, and it gets me, lets me follow something, and it lets me also be realistic about how I'm spending time. And it feels good to get the day to look at it and go, all right, I did those 4 or 5 things. Yeah. There.
Yeah, I'm impressed on Emily's calendar skills, and she puts everything in there, so that's okay. Yeah.
Good. So glad.
But it was more on the workflow that, but I think it helped to, what were you all saying, to check the course outline and to check the overview, what it's all about. Yeah. And then from there, and I think I will discuss that with her as well. Yeah, that definitely helps. Yeah.
Lisa, did you have anything to add to that?
No, I've always used calendars for years to schedule my day, and I think it's great that you guys are using them, and I got my kids set up on calendars too, just to block out the chunks. And then it also teaches them to see, well, I gave myself way too much time here. Now I know, or I need to, to adjust, and kind of, you can look back and reflect and kind of see how long things take and how you work with it. And then after a couple of weeks, it becomes a lot easier to schedule your time, right? Because you know not exactly, but pretty much how long it takes you to do everything. So yeah, it's amazing. And he's like super efficient with it. I'm just like, wow, cool.
Mm-hmm. That's so great.
Yeah.
And we also have one of Diego's parents here. I'm not sure which one. Can you hear us? If you do come back in, feel free to yourself at any point.
I have a couple other questions if there's time.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So Tamate's, I think his mentor has their pod is a group pod. I don't think she does it individually. But it's not fitting in with, like, we have to go to Kelowna for a piano lesson during then.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how that's going to work, or if she can just talk to him individually, or if she's going to be able to adjust it. But he had to miss last week because we couldn't do it. And we can't change the piano lesson because we organized them in June.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's an option for that.
Yeah, I will talk to Heather about that. I know that it's a big conversation, this whole scheduling the meetings.
Right.
It's a challenging thing to do, and I'll give you all a little bit of feedback.
Oh, I'm sure.
Someone's waving there. Can you hear us? Someone one of Diego's parents. Excellent. So yeah, a little bit of knowledge as to how we schedule and why. In the first session, we try to involve the learners in the schedule a little bit more. And I mean, some pods, it's really easy when we send out that first doodle poll and we say, what days work for you out of all of these. Sometimes it's just like, all right, it's very clear. Every single person can come on this day. Woohoo, that's great. But having 10 or 11 people in one pod, sometimes it's a nightmare. And it's very challenging. And I think what happened in that pod is they came up with one, and I think Tamatea maybe came in a bit late. Is that what happened? And then didn't get the feedback?
I'm not sure if he missed the doodle poll or what happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll communicate with Heather about that, and we can look at a few options, because I'm hearing from your side that it's just there's no way that pod time will work.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not at all. And I know it's probably complicated with him because he's got lots of extracurricular activities.
Yeah.
So
what might be the best then, because those pod meetings are a really big part of co-design.
I know. Yeah.
So it might be the best to maybe even switch him into another pod if he's not attached to his group yet, if he hasn't met with them that frequently.
Yeah, I'm not
pod times.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you want to hear the other times, and then I could check in with Lisa or Megan?
Sure, or even like the pod time that they have now, if they shifted it back half an hour, then he can do it too, because it's right before we head to Kelowna.
Okay, if they shifted it back half an hour.
I thought they were talking about changing the times already, but they didn't make a decision.
Oh, were they? You know what? Tamate's basically doing everything on his own, but the last time I heard it was going to be Tuesdays at 12:30.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be. She has 1 o'clock written down in the calendar that I see.
Yeah, it's one.
It's
Oh,
1
okay.
o'clock, yeah.
So
But
we have to.
And it's being changed to 11 o'clock on Mondays.
Is that for sure?
That's not for sure, but that's the time Heather put in.
Oh, Heather is discussing with everyone in the group to change it to Mondays at 11.
Would that work for you guys, Tanya?
Well, it probably would be okay. The problem is that he just really wants to get all his academic stuff done in the morning when he can really focus.
Yeah.
And so if it could be like at lunchtime, even an hour later, like if you know what I mean, like because that's valuable time in the focusing time in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that'd be Mondays. That'd probably work okay.
Okay. Because I think that Heather has been putting a lot of insight trying to see what works best for everyone and really trying to get that going. So I'll communicate with her and get a little a check, and I'll email you, Tanya, the confirmation.
Okay.
And I hope that works. And if not, there's that other option that maybe we look at putting him in a different pod. If the meeting time thing is just being a huge, conflict for you guys, we could switch that.
Now, is there also a guiding mentor meeting every week, or just the pod meeting?
Different pods do it differently. So some people are just doing one large meeting. Some people do a couple smaller ones. Some people do one large one and a very small one.
Okay.
So ask your son, and he'll know.
Yeah.
It looks like Heather is doing just one large one right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then she's always available for those little one-on-ones if need be, right? That's a big part of the guiding program, is that they are there to support the learner through all of the courses. So yeah, to give you a little bit more feedback as to what we do in the second session, coming up here soon, we actually look at creating the schedule for the second session so that families have it really quite far in advance. And the goal with that schedule is to be around 12 to 2 or 11 to 1, like that kind of chunk, that midday chunk of time. And it sounds like 11 to 1 will be a bit better for some of these learners. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. So that socials is one day, science is the next day, English is the next day.
Better.
And then that's pretty much it. So it's a very clear schedule when they look at their weekly calendar. And other things can fit around that. And we'll give enough advance with the notice. I think that's in a couple weeks here. We'll give enough advance that we can hopefully move things around as individual families. Hi, welcome.
Oh my gosh, what? Can you actually hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm on 2 devices because one doesn't have volume and my other computer is not working. So anyways, so one device you can see me and my other device you can't see me, but you can hear me. So there we go.
Can you introduce yourself?
Oh yeah, I'm Diego's mother.
Whose mother, sorry?
Diego.
Diego's mother. And what's your name?
Xochitl.
Xochitl.
Yeah.
Lovely to meet you, Xochitl. Glad you're here.
Nice.
We were wondering what was happening over there in the other screen.
I know, I was like showing up as a mysterious. I was trying to email you and tell you, but I was showing up as a mysterious and I had no volume. So
And
anyways.
Are you guys in Uruguay?
No, not yet.
But you're headed there at some point, is that?
I hope so. There's been a few kinks in the plan.
Okay, I remember seeing notes about that. Well,
Yeah, so
That's
anyway.
figuring that out.
Thanks.
So welcome. We are meeting just right now. We kind of opened it up to questions. We've talked a little bit about scheduling, both on the learner's perspective of how to actually get their work done every week, and then for the parents, how to sort of know when the learners are meeting for different classes. And I'll keep moving forward because I am recording this, Xochitl, so you can actually watch the recording part that you missed.
I think I caught quite a bit. I just don't think you guys knew I was there.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so you could hear us, just couldn't speak.
Yeah, exactly. I have one question though. Is there any funding like there was in previous years for extra classes, etc.?
So, well, we're very lucky that Self-Design High is all of our courses that we offer in the high school are free of cost. So that's wonderful, except for there is a Wild Earth program that's an outdoor educational program that they do ask for a small piece of tuition. But other than that, the school is very affordable that way. If a learner is registered in the special education stream, there is funding available to that learner. So that's sort of a case-per-case scenario if that learner is working with an individual education plan. If they are not working with an IEP, then the conversation can occur. Like if there's something that that we're asking the learner to do and they're limited because of a financial status, then we can definitely support. But I think most of the things, are you thinking about like for the phys ed course maybe, for getting some of the daily activities done?
Well, yeah, just stuff like that, or just that in previous years we get like, or my other kids, they have like, I don't know, $600, like the visa.
Yeah.
Is that different?
Definitely don't have that, and that might be a unique thing to the K-9 stream. Yeah.
Okay.
We don't have that, but like I said, if it's limiting, the ability to participate in any part of the high school, then we are there to support families that want that assistance. But yeah, there is no co-design fund given to everyone.
Okay. Yeah, maybe it's a K-9 thing.
Yeah, I think it might be.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, good question though. Is this sparking any other questions for any of you? I don't know if a few of you came with lists and we checked it off.
I have a question about that course that they're going to be starting. Is it the option course, or you have one that they get to choose?
It is. Oh gosh, it's such a magnificent course. So it's called Personal Project.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea of the course, it's a grade 10 elective credit, 4 credits. And the course is designed off the principle that at that age, it's so easy to start things and not that easy to finish things. So this course is looking at creating, discovering something that each learner is interested in. And this is so different for every single learner. And the mentor supports the learner throughout the phases. There's 4 phases that we design, from brainstorming a project, creating a draft of some sort of project, getting feedback on it, putting a whole thing together, and then presenting whatever it is they came up with to the group. And the really interesting thing about this is that, it's so different from learner to learner. Last year, I actually had a pod of learners. I wasn't in this role yet. And some of my learners, one of them decided they wanted to learn how to play guitar. So she taught herself how to play guitar. Then she wrote a song and she recorded the song. And that was her project. So she went quite far above and beyond my expectations of that one. Some other learners one of my learners did a video blog of his life. He's a skateboarder. So he's and a videographer. He loves taking film and taking photos. So he kind of followed himself around, and did a really cool video blog. I think they call it a vlog, and presented a little piece of that to us. Another one of my learners is an amazing writer, and he wrote, initially wanted to do a huge story, and then ended up writing a few short stories. So the neat thing is that there's dialogue throughout, and almost one of the biggest lessons that come out is that we set the bar very high for ourselves. And it's challenging sometimes to rise up to what we think we're capable of. And it's realistic along the way. A lot of my learners, reanalyzed their first phase and said, what, maybe I won't write that whole story, but I'll write, a couple shorter stories. And maybe my video blog will not be 2 hours long. It'll be 3 minutes, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. So all those successes along the way, that's not docked marks. That's amazing assessment of what they're capable of, right? That's a little snippet into what is coming here in the next few weeks. Did I answer your question, Tanya? Do you have more specific?
Can't hear.
Oh, Suzanne?
Can you turn you mute it, maybe?
Yeah, I was just saying. Oh.
Thanks.
Okay. So yeah, it does. I might maybe talk to you a little bit later about Tamatea's basically finishing his RCM piano 9 right now.
Awesome. And
then he's going to be doing his 10, and he's also doing advanced theory. So
we can use.
Yeah. But what I'm wondering is, because he already gets credits for those anyways. Okay. I'm wondering if he can get exempt, because he spends 3 hours a day anyways doing that stuff. And if he adds that, what you're saying on top of that, it just sounds like I don't know.
Oh, yeah. So it's the co-design program. It's designed in a way that, we encourage learners to take the whole package deal, but it doesn't make sense for some learners. Maybe they already took a math credit, or maybe they already have enough electives, or
right.
So if you decide that the Personal Project 10, it's an elective credit.
Right.
If you decide that it's one thing too much for Tamatea, then that could be something you discuss with the guiding mentor, and maybe that's the course that Tamatea does not register in.
Okay, I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah, that would be fine. But if that brings up the opposite side of that, though, is that if your child is doing some amazing things in their personal life, it's an opportunity for them to get credit for something that they're doing. So in that sense, it doesn't, that wouldn't work for the piano, because they actually are already getting credit for that. But if there's some other investigation that Tamatea is doing in his personal life, maybe he's, an avid reader and just is gobbling up all these books and wants to write some sort of, novel study, or maybe they're, amazing artists and are just painting in their free time and just love that and want to, take pictures of them and put them into a portfolio. It's an opportunity to get credit for some of that work as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. The other course that we are adding in with that art interlude I just mentioned is Visual Arts 10. Mm-hmm. So that is the last course, and we add that in during Wellness Week, which is running in November this year. And I could get the dates for those of you that don't have the dates, because that's kind of coming up quickly here, isn't it? Wellness Week runs from Monday, November 7th to Friday, November 11th. And the idea with Self-Design High is that Wellness Week is an opportunity for learners to really be encouraged to take some time for themselves. So it's also an opportunity to just have all the courses slow down a little bit for a week in one way or another, that they can redirect their focus.
Turn that off.
We use Wellness Week as an opportunity to introduce the art course, because it is something really different than what they've already been doing. We actually pull in some guest artists that are on faculty with our school, and they do little workshops. So it's really, really it's a fun, enlivening part of the year. So the rest of the meetings that week will just be really dampened. There won't be, depending on what pod they're in, they'll decide how they want to do that. But there will be an introduction to art and a really fun workshop where they do a creation piece together in a virtual setting. So that's a little snippet of how we introduce that course.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions arising the more I ramble on? Perfect.
Sounds
I'm
good.
just looking at the document. So the mentors and I meet on a weekly basis and just have little quick overviews of how things are going. And that's a really wonderful time for me to be aware if there's families that need extra technical support, or if there's families that, are having a hard time scheduling the meeting times or whatnot. And that's my opportunity to connect with the mentor about that. And sometimes I even jump in, and then I'm connecting with the families themselves. So in these weekly meetings, I love being able to paint a picture of what, what is going on in each pod. And this last week when we met, I kind of asked all the mentors about what September felt like for them in a bit of a nutshell. And what came up a lot was lots of technological discoveries, right? And that's huge for grade 10 learners. And I mean, all of us discovered that today too, just getting into this meeting, right? It's okay, it takes a while. Where's the right link? That one's not working. Okay, well, why is that not working? How can I communicate with Sarah? Where'd she go? Where am I? There's so much happening. And suddenly we start at 2:10 instead of 2:00. A really big part of the year is these technological discoveries and learning how to communicate on this different level, this different platform. So what I always remind the learners of is that those learnings are actually learning outcomes in their Guiding Mentor course. There's a whole category dedicated towards technological literacy. So I just love telling the parents this as well, because I know that this can create a lot of anxiety or frustrations at home if things don't work out. And I myself have that as well. A web page is down, it drives you crazy. Maybe it's just your internet connection, but it's very frustrating. And I just want you all to know that one of the things you can do to help support your youth through that is to remind them that, okay, this is part of the process. We're taking an online high school program, and this is part of the process, and you're really lucky because you're actually getting credits for moments like this. Like, there are learning outcomes for dealing with all of this and being open to share your experience with your group. And maybe you're learning something new. Maybe you restarted your computer and that web page turned up again. Share that with your group when you go into it the next time, so you can help somebody else out. So kind of empowering them. And it's amazing what you're going to see in each of your youth throughout the whole year, and I mean, we're already surprised, right? They're pretty comfortable with a lot of these things. But we keep adding little bits throughout the year, and I'm always amazed at what they walk away with.
Can I ask a question? So
Yeah.
I'm on two different things. I'm here as Diego. I'm also with the other one.
You figured it out, though. That's great. Nice.
Kind of, yeah. I'm on two devices. So how much homework on average should they be doing? Because I feel like Diego's doing a lot of hours a day. Is that right? I don't know. I can't tell if he's jumping ahead or what he's doing, but I feel like he's doing a lot and he's not doing other things that he had wanted to do, like focus on writing or cello or I don't know. So I'm just curious to know if he's going ahead or if there really is sort of like a steady stream of kind of like 4 hours a day of homework.
It's an excellent question, Sochil. We did address just a little bit of that earlier. I'm so happy revisiting that, though, because it is a really big thing. We looked at scheduling for each learner. And
I did jump in on the scheduling
at the time as well, so I'll wrap up in about 5 minutes here, and then anyone that needs to go can go, and I'm happy staying afterwards. But in terms of the scheduling, I think one of the biggest things is starting to get in a routine. So rather than feeling like whenever you have a free moment, you have to be doing schoolwork, chunking out little, and it was Tanya that was saying little 45-minute pieces of time are a really, really productive amount of time. And then after that 45, that means 15 minutes break. Go play that cello song. Go outside, jump on the trampoline. Go get that snack. Really breaks apart the day nicely and keeps the focus time very focused rather than 3 hours sitting here and being on Facebook for half of it, or maybe like drifting on and off with the focus. So that was one of our pieces of feedback that we all agreed was really quite a valid point. The other was that at the top of every single course, there are all of the Moodle courses that the kids are in this session. You'll see a course, there's a course guide, then there's a course schedule or a course timeline. And if they click on that, it gives them an idea of what the whole session is going to look like, how much work there is, what they're covering each week, roughly. All of the pods are in a bit of a different place. But we are saying how nice it is to have a big picture idea as well, so that Diego can know, oh, wow, I'm actually, very far ahead of my pod right now. Or, just to understand what's coming up next.
Okay.
Yeah, and the last thing would be to connect with the guiding mentor if it is feeling like there's a lot going on. We want everyone's workflow to be working, and if we're still introducing 2 more courses. So Tanya and I were also talking about this idea that every learner doesn't have to do this full packaged program. It's what we encourage, but it's not appropriate for every single learner. So maybe they take one of those courses and they say, I'm going to do that in the summer. Doing that right now is way too much on my plate. I can't even imagine it. I'll address that at some other time.
Oh, so there's that flexibility.
There is. I mean, there's certain courses that, we're doing some in the pod, and that's a really big part of Co-Design 10. Like the PE planning right now, that's huge. They're doing lots of it together, and they're doing lots of learning and conversation and debate. And so talk with the guiding mentor about what might be an appropriate course. It's a little bit more self-paced.
Okay. I mean, he's enjoying it, but I just personally feel like he's doing it.
And I mean, this is also the first month of the school year. It's a learning curve.
Okay.
So once they get more comfortable with the technology and their own workflow, I think that maybe that'll taper off. But it's a really valuable thing to be aware of as a mother as well. And just like, is this normal? It's like, are you doing too much?
I thought the whole point of homeschooling was that he could. I mean, we homeschooled last year for our first year, but I was saying I thought it was so that he had more time, like last year, to work on personal projects. But this year, all he's been doing is pre-calculus.
Oh wow! Yeah,
I don't know if that's his choice or if that is the way that he is supposed to do. So he's not really being clear with me either. So I was just curious.
I think that if he doesn't have a lot of math background, I don't know what his math background is, then it's grade 10 is a big jump. It does require a lot of time for learners for if he's in pre-calculus. It's not an easy course, especially if you're jumping in from an unschooling background. I don't know what his background is. If he's got a lot of math.
Oh, well, I mean, he likes it. I think he might be ahead, but I just don't know if he has to be so much ahead. I don't know. It's bothering me that he's doing so much, but I think it's his choice, and I'm just not sure who to talk to about like helping him kind of balance things out.
That time it would be Travis.
Okay.
Travis is so awesome. He's so approachable and really quite passionate about what he does, and he wants the best for all of his learners. So
I know that he told Diego to like take the weekend off or something.
Okay, good. See, there, Travis is already reaching out and is already seeing that Diego's overworking. So that's good.
Yeah. Okay.
Please let your kids always take the weekends off because man, it's so get wrapped up in this school world.
Okay.
The other thing about math too is that if he's just if he's listening to the videos and then they have the questions that he can do underneath, if he gets it, he doesn't have to do all the questions, right? Like you don't have to do, like if there's 10 questions and you're getting them, then just do every second one. Because otherwise it can just be so overwhelming. Unless he just loves it and he wants
I think
to
it's his personality, but it's kind of making me crazy as a mother because I want him to do other things too. But I don't know. Tanya, what grade? Are we all in the same grade, or are we just all?
Yes. So this is all grade 10.
All grade 10.
They're all
okay.
in the Co-Design 10 program. They're in different pods, but they all have Travis for math if they've chosen to do math this year. And then there's 3 pod leaders, pod mentors: Megan, Heather, and Lisa. So there's kind of, we're all scattered. All 33 learners are scattered between the 3 pods.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
You're welcome. And it's good to hear. Go ahead, Susan.
Yeah, perhaps it helps that Emily needs a lot of time with her math as well, and she's enjoying it, but it takes a lot of time. That's something that I notice as well, and it is a big jump towards what they had and what they have now, and the way of how they get the math. But Travis explains extremely good. So.
And I think it's worth it to.
I can give you all some really positive. Oh, go ahead, Tanya.
I was going to say I think it's worth it to spend a lot of time in grade 10 because it's like a building block for grade 11 and 12 math, and they get progressively harder. So you want to spend lots of time, do really well in grade 10, and then get that really good base.
Yeah, build a strong foundation. I can give you all a really neat observation that I've noticed this year compared this year's pods compared to last year. It seems like all the learners are prioritizing math this year, which is really, I think that's awesome. Because last year what happened with the math is they weren't prioritizing it, and most of them almost took a year to complete the course. So they did not complete it when we encouraged, and that just dragged on, and no one enjoyed it by the end. So the fact that we're seeing, and part of it is Travis's approach this year as well, the fact that we're seeing such strong momentum is a really, really positive thing for us, because it's a very academic course and we want it to be finished by the end of this session, because next session they have English, socials, and science. Those are big courses and we don't want them to be doing math at the same time.
Yeah.
So think of that as well, that they're doing their math and they get a little break and then they're jumping in, and it's very different academics, so it's a nice switch, and they're all magnificent courses in my opinion. But we do want everybody to succeed in getting that deadline of mid-January to finish the course. Yeah. I'll just bring the awareness to the time. It's just past 2:55, and I know Tanya, you said you had to head out around now, so I'll let you sort of have a last question if you have anything else you want to share before you head out.
I don't think I do. It'd be great though to talk to you a little bit about that pod meeting at one point.
So I will reach out to Heather and get an answer. I'll email you, and then you and I can communicate either via email, or if we need to take it further, we can have a phone chat. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Nice to see everybody. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Wonderful. And then any last questions or thoughts from the 3 of you?
Is there any face-to-face time with the pods? Sorry, was someone about to speak?
Any face-to-face time with the parents with the pods?
No, real time with the pods, not just face-to-face, not FaceTime, but
Oh, real time. Oh,
Yeah.
That's such a great question. Okay, so the interesting thing is that we actually are scattered all across BC.
Okay.
But as a high school, we really value communication, as you all know, but we also value this relationship building, right? So this online setting, this is great, and the learners actually build amazing relationships, but we want to encourage a few opportunities for real-time conversation and real-time meetings. So we do run 4 camps throughout the year, 1 in each of the seasons. There is a fall camp happening pretty quickly here. I think it's just in a few weeks, and it's in Manning Park. There is a winter camp, and the pod mentors have all the details on these. I'm not sure if I'll be able to tell you all the exact locations, But I know there is a camp that's sort of around the Kelowna area. We like the Manning Park area because it's kind of between Kootenays and the coast, and we find that we have lots of learners on either end there. So it feels like a safe middle ground. The spring camp is actually right in Vancouver, and I went to it last year for my first time. And after being a mentor to one of these pods, and I was like completely blown away. These kids were getting out of the cars and just like tackling each other, and like they'd been best friends for 10 years. And they'd only been hanging out for, maybe 7 months at that point. But it was really cool to see that level of relationship that they had all built. Just from, meeting once a week or twice a week. So there are opportunities. And if you are curious about a camp, keep your eyes peeled. Tell Diego to, inquire with his guiding mentor about which one would be best for him to prioritize. But we really strongly encourage camp attendance. There's a summer camp as well. Where is it? In the Sunshine Valley. So it's up on the coast.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all for taking the time out of your day. It's so rich for me to get just a bit of an idea of everyone's experience, because it's so different. And the learners tell one side of the story, but the parents really do see that holistic, health approach. How is everything being balanced in the home life? So, yeah. So I'll have these meetings. I say every 6 weeks. If we feel like we need one before then, I'd be happy to have that. And I encourage you all to reach out to me. Again, if there's more sort of program related stuff, if you're looking at that holistic schedule, if you're looking at technical stuff and you're wanting assistance with that, I'm the go-to for all of that. So I hope you all feel welcome to connect with me now.
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. And I'll be updating that blog every few weeks too. I sent that out in the email.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Sarah. And yeah, I'm homeschooling 3 kids, so I'm just really behind right now on even knowing what Diego's been doing. He's kind of on his own.
Good for you. Well, I always value the parents, because I see the kids that come in these programs are they're pretty unique, and it's so wonderful to get them all together, sharing their experiences and learning from each other. So thanks for being a part of this.
Yeah, and he's really enjoying the one-on-one, and Travis he's really amazing. So yeah, thanks to all you guys.
I'm so glad. I'll pass it on to Travis.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Nice to meet all of you. Hi, Lisa. Thanks, Suzanne.
Thank you.
You're welcome.